going to do is, okay, we will not directly go into the system. Okay, we'll just try to understand some basics. Okay, first we'll try to just understand, or we'll try to grasp some basic terminologies which are used in transportation management. And also let's first try to just think about few scenarios and see how the flow works, and then probably we will go ahead and see how we can proceed further when we go into the system. Yeah, Debashish, you have any question?
Not question. Basically, uh, I will be more interested when we will be discussing about the TM things.
Hmm.
How it is compared to a legacy application of SAP, which is early shipping.
Hmm.
When we talk about TM related terminologies, like if something is there in early shipping, how it is corresponding functionalities, whether it is available, not available, or what it is called in TM, those things. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
that would be helpful if you can provide those information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So down the line, when we start going into the subject more in detail, right, you will
Yeah.
able to understand it. So that should not be a problem. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Then let's quickly draw one, or just try to take one example and see how the flow works. Okay, uh, what are the different things which we need to keep in mind when it comes to the transportation and all that, right? So let me start sharing my screen, and then yeah. So let me know if you all can see my screen.
I can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so transportation management, right? As it the name is, right. So it is very important. You go in any kind of industry, right? You go into retail industries, you go into any kind of pharma industries or equipment manufacturing industry, any kind of industry you go. Transportation is really very important in each of the industry. This particular uh, module, or I would not say module, but this particular thing will always be there. There will always be a transportation, right? So it is very important, and I would say it's kind of a backbone of every industry, because it doesn't matter how good you are in manufacturing your goods, but if you are not able to deliver it to your customers on time and without any damages, then there's no point, right? So transportation plays a very important role in any kind of industry. Yeah. So let's try to first take one example and see how the flow goes, right? When it an end-to-end flow, basically. So, if we take an example, right? So uh, let's take an example, a very basic example, like assuming if I am a customer, right? So, assume that I am a customer, right? And I need to buy some uh, home appliances, right? I need to buy some home appliances, and for that, I go to uh, any of the retail outlets. So, for example, in India, we have a very famous retail outlet for home appliances, like Reliance Digital or something, right? So, I'm a customer, and what I want to do is I want to buy a home appliance, right? Home appliances or any kind of electronic gadgets, anything I want to buy, right? So for that, what I'll do, okay, the first activity which I'll do is I'll visit. Okay, where do I visit? I visit to a retail shop, right? Okay, so I visit a retail shop. Now, for example, I visit let's say a Reliance Digital, right? Okay, so yeah, so I visit to a retail shop, and for example, it is a Reliance Digital, right? So what exactly I will do now? The moment I visit a store, what will be the next step? Let's try to visualize that. So the next step, what will be? A sales guy will approach me, right, and he will ask me, okay, that what exactly you are looking for. So then I need to give my requirement to that particular sales guy, that okay, I'm looking for some kind of home appliances, right? So the second step would be to give the requirement. Okay, give the requirement to the salesperson, right? So I give a requirement saying that I need to buy I need to buy, let's say, a refrigerator. Okay, refrigerator, and maybe a TV unit, right? So this is what I need to buy. So I give my requirement to the salesperson. Now what salesperson will do, he'll try to apply his marketing skills, and he will try to convince me that okay, this product is good, and if you buy this product, then I will give you some discount, and I will also give you some benefits, like if you buy fridge and TV right together, then I will also give you some complimentary gift, that I will gift you some speakers or something, right? So my salesperson will try to convince me that okay, these are the products which I can buy, and based on that I am also getting convinced, right? So after I get convinced, what do? The next step would be, just try to imagine a scenario, right? So the next step would be, I confirm my order uh, to the sales guy, right? So I confirm it, okay, that I am okay with whatever quotation or whatever information you have given to me. Based on that, I'm confirming my order. Okay, I'm confirming my order. So after I confirm my order, right, generally what will happen, okay, in real time. So my sales guy will say that okay, you are confirming your order, then you need to also tell me on which date, because refrigerator and TV units is not something which I can which I can carry and take it along with me, because uh, those are the big appliances, and I cannot carry it in my car or on my two wheeler, right? It's not possible. So I need to tell them a delivery date, and what they will do, they will then arrange a transportation for me, right? Based on whatever date, delivery date and time I give it to them, they will arrange the transportation for me, and they will deliver the goods at my doorstep, right? That is what I'm expecting, right? So after I confirm the order, they will ask me about the what is your address, what is your preferred date and time, okay, on which you want to get this particular equipments delivered. Okay, so I give my delivery address at the time of confirming the order, right? I give my delivery address and the date and time, right? This is very important, because I'm not available 24/7, right? I need to tell them that okay, you need to come at so and so date and so time, and this is my delivery address. And I may so I'm staying in some remote location, so assuming I'm going to this particular Reliance Digital, which is there in Mumbai, right? It is a big metro city, but I'm not staying in a Mumbai. I'm staying to some remote location which is near to Mumbai, right? So I will have to give them the address, the actual address, right? Then only they will able to deliver the goods to me, right? So that is very important. So I confirm the order, I give my delivery address, and I give my delivery date and preferred time of delivery, right? So after I do this, what my sales guy will do, uh, sales guy will pass this particular information to, where they will pass this information, because in showroom, right, in showroom they have the display pieces, they have a refrigerator and TV units, fine, but they don't deliver it, right? Those particular products are just for display, right? But if they want to actually sell any kind, if they want to actually send any kind of appliances to the customers, then they have a warehouse, correct? They have a warehouse, or they have a distribution center. So there they store products, and which are very new and which are packed, sealed packed, it's not open, and from there they will ship the goods out to the customer, right? So what will happen, okay, the next step over here will be, my sales guy will pass this information to warehouse, right? That okay, I have received this order, now my job is done, because my job was just to sell the goods. Now it's your responsibility, you need to pick, you need to pack, and then you need to do the goods issue of that particular product, right? So now the next step is, sales team will send the information to warehouse. Okay, so my warehouse will have volume, right? They store all the units, right? And it's warehouse responsibility to perform all this kind of picking, packing, and whatever is my requirement. Based on that, they will do, and they will then send that, and they will then send the delivery to the customer, right? So here now my warehouse has received the information. Okay, so now what is my warehousing activity, right? Warehousing activities are okay, based on the order, okay, my warehousing team, they will start doing the picking, right? So warehouse will create its own picking list, and they have their own, internal documents using which they will start performing the picking, right? They will perform a picking of the appliances, right? They will start performing the picking of the appliances, and also they will see whether customer has asked for any value add services, meaning whether customer wants any kind of gift packing, or if they want any kind of extra labeling or whatever it is, right? Customer may say that I need to gift this particular items, right? So all those instructions must be there in the sales order, and based on that, my warehouse guys will take care of it, and they will perform the picking, right? So after my warehouse has done the picking, right, what they will do, um, warehouse job is done, correct? The task of my warehouse person or my warehouse supervisor is just to make sure that a picking is done on time and it is now available for shipping. Okay, so after this is done, right, now the entire drama comes in, where we are actually interested, right? We are actually interested in the transportation, right? So during this entire flow, right, like the moment I receive my sales order, or if the moment I receive my order and I start creating a delivery for a customer, my transportation planning should happen. Okay, transportation planning doesn't wait till the time, till the end of my picking, right? So transportation planning will start much in advance, depending on whatever is the, the date, time, and the volume of the delivery, right? So what exactly I mean by the transportation planning? So now let's look into that. Okay, so I'm now we need to perform or my shipping team needs to perform a transportation planning of these particular appliances which Amit has ordered. Okay, so what they'll do, okay, first thing, they will understand that, okay, how many products I need to supply to the customer. So I have only two products, right? One is refrigerator, okay, and the TV. So these are the only two products which I need to ship, okay, to Amit, and who is in the remote location, so which is near to Mumbai. Okay, let's say some remote location, I would say maybe let's say Lonavala. Okay, so this is my place where I stay. Okay, so I need to deliver the goods. Only these two goods I need to deliver, and that too in a remote location. Okay, so first thing, what I'll have to check with my sales team or with my warehousing team, that do you have few more uh, consignments, or do you have few more deliveries which are supposed to be delivered to this particular place, right? So that I can combine all those all those multiple products, okay, into one shipment, and based on that I can start my bidding activities with my carriers, right? So I'll try to collect all the information, or I'll try to collect all the deliveries which are supposed to go into this particular place, if I'm able to get it. Okay, if I'm able to get multiple deliveries for the same place, then what I can do, I can directly order a full truckload. I can order a full truckload, and I can plan my transportation activities according to that. But if I'm not able to get, okay, the multiple deliveries for this particular location, okay, then what I'll do, then I'll have to go with some different approach, right? I cannot order a full truckload because it will be very costly for me, and my customer is not going to bear the cost for it, right? So depending on the scenario, or depending on the number of deliveries which you want to deliver, okay, in that particular location, you need to decide how you are going to plan your transportation. Okay, now assuming we are not getting the full truckload, okay, this is just the one consignment which I need to deliver it to the to this particular destination. So what my transportation planning will do now, okay, they will start inquiring about this, and they'll start tendering process, basically, right? So they'll start tendering process, and they will ask companies like the transportation companies or the freight forwarding companies like FedEx, DHL, okay, DTDC. So there are many such logistic service provider companies, right? which we have. So what I will do, my transportation planning team or my shipping team, okay, I am basically just a distributor. My job is to take the orders and to just deliver it to the customer, but I am not a transporter. I'm not a company who provides the transportation services, right? My job is just to manufacture the goods if possible. If not, then I just take a responsibility to sell it. And then further all activities are done by this LSPs. These are the logistic service providers, right? So what my shipping guy will do, okay, my shipping guy will start looking for the carriers who can actually deliver my goods, okay, to this particular place. This example is considering that I'm starting my new business, right? Because during the initial stages only we do all this kind of tendering stuff, right? Once we get the into a regular business, like if I'm doing this business since last 5 to 10 years, then I will already have all the contracts with my FedEx, DHL, DTDC, or whoever it is, right? So I don't have to do it again and again for every consignment. Okay, I do this activity maybe once in a year. Okay, I have this contract and then I get it renewed every year, right? So for the first time, what we do is we start the tendering process, that okay, this is how my business is. I'll be distributing the home appliances to a different location around Mumbai. So I need to know, can you give me the quotation? Okay, I will ask for the quotation for from all this particular LSPs, that is logistic service providers, right? Then what these people will do, these people will ask me all the questions, that okay, what will be your volume, how many once in how many deliveries you are planning to deliver to this particular location in a month, okay, or in a year. They will gather all this information, and based on that they will give me the quotation, right? That okay, this is what I can offer you. If you are okay, then let's go ahead and let's make the contract, right? So depending on whatever quotation I receive, I then create a contract with my LSPs, that okay boss, next time onwards, whenever I receive okay this kind of orders to this location, then you are my carrier, then you are my freight forwarder who will be responsible to transport the goods, okay, from my source location, that is from my warehouse, to my destination, which is nothing but my customer, right? So my transportation team or my shipping team will do all this kind of exercises, and they will create a contract, or we can also call it as a subcontracting. Actually what we are doing a subcontracting work, right, with this particular LSPs, right? So this is what I will do. This is what my shipping team will do. They will create a contract with the LSP, and then going forward, this particular LSP will start picking the goods from my warehouse, and it will start delivering the goods to my destination location. Okay, so this is done, right? So I have finalized my career. I have finalized my this. Service provider, everything is done. Then what the service provider is going to do, this service provider, okay, will say that okay, you tell me the number of devices which you need to transport. Okay, based on that I will send my truck, okay, to your location. Okay, so the FedEx guy, okay, what he will do, FedEx will send a truck to the warehouse. Okay, you need to tell them, okay, that on I need to deliver the goods, let's say by 31st of August, right? So you need to arrive on 30th of August morning, right? So that I can load your truck, and then you can go to your distribution center, and you can collate whatever you have to that particular area, and you deliver it, right? So the FedEx guy will then send a truck to the warehouse. Okay, then what warehouse will do, warehouse will perform the loading. Okay, so the loading activities will be done by warehouse, right? So loading activities will be done by warehouse, and then what will happen eventually, the truck will leave your yard. Okay, yard is nothing but a area or a premise which is outside of your warehouse. So truck will leave your yard. Okay, so the fourth step is truck is departed from the yard. Okay, so this is what has happened. Now, what is the next step, or what is the expectation from my customer? My customer will say, okay, that you have dispatched the goods, but why I'm not receiving a notifications? Because he is expecting that, okay, for each and every move, whenever it happens, whenever the goods are departed from your warehouse, I need to know, I need to receive some notifications, right? So that is also very important when it comes to the transportation management system. So TMS is capable of integrating with multiple parties who can provide this kind of information to TMS, and TMS can pass that information to the customers. Okay, so basically the expectation over here is for every move, okay, for every move of the truck, okay, an event needs to be triggered and sent to the customer. So my customer should know, she should able to get the tracking details, right? So that is very important nowadays. Okay, so this also becomes very important for the short shipments, like from Mumbai to Lonavala. It's okay, it's not that important. But let's say if you are moving the goods from one city to another city, or if you are doing a movement in the ocean, right? That is, if you are using the ports, or if you are using air as a mode of transport, then this kind of tracking becomes really important, right? So this also we need to understand that whenever the truck is departed, or whenever a shipment is departed from your port, a tracking events needs to be received in your TMS system, and maybe if it is needed, then from TMS it needs to be sent to your destination customer, right? So this will be the next activity once the truck is departed from the yard. Okay, now what is the next step? The next step is my delivery, right? The truck reaches. Okay, so the truck. So so you just try to, yeah, so the truck is not going to go into the my truck is not going to come into my doorstep, right? Because the truck doesn't, I cannot accommodate the trucks at my doorstep. It's not possible, right? My society or my locality doesn't have that much of space that I can call a truck and then truck can deliver the goods. No. So what will happen in real time? Okay, this is very common scenario, right? The truck reaches to FedEx facility first. Okay, FedEx will have its own facility, okay, in that particular destination location, right? So then it will reach the FedEx facility, and from here, okay, they will divide the consignments into smaller lots, right? So they will reach the facility, the truck will reach the facility, the goods will be unloaded, and then from that premises or from that facility, a smaller vehicles, right, a smaller vehicles like Tata Ace, or maybe some another smaller vehicles which can hold a truck, which can hold this refrigerator and TV, will take that good, and then it will go to the customer's doorstep, right? That is how it works, correct? So that will be divided into smaller lots, and it will go to my, and it will come to my doorstep, right? Then what will happen? Okay, so a delivery guy, okay, delivery guy comes and delivers the goods. Okay, but how do a Reliance Digital person will know, or how my shipping team who is sitting in Mumbai will come to know whether the goods are delivered or not, right? Because they need to know that, okay, if goods are delivered, then only I will pay to my FedEx, then only I will pay to my carrier. I need to have that proof, right? If I don't have that proof, then how can I deliver, or how can I pay to you? I cannot pay to you, right? You need to tell me that, okay, I have delivered the goods. These are the sign and stamp which I have received from the customer. Then you need to send that information to me, and if I will verify that information, if everything is okay, then only I'm going to pay you. Otherwise, I am not going to pay you, right? So what this delivery guy will do, he will come and he will deliver the goods to you, but he will ask for sign and stamp from you, right? You remember, whenever we receive any kind of goods at our doorstep, people will always ask for some confirmation. They may tell you that, okay, can you please sign that, okay, you have received this goods and all that, right? So that concept is called as proof of delivery. Okay, so proof of delivery is very important. Okay, you need to, or the transporter will always look for it. they will always look for the proper sign and stamp from the customer, and this proof of delivery will be then attached, okay, with the invoice, right? So now what does carrier, okay, carrier, who is our carrier? FedEx. What this carrier will do, he will send the invoice, right, to Reliance Digital, that okay, I have given you the service, right? Now you need to pay me, correct? So he will send an invoice to a Reliance Digital along with POD. Okay, along with POD. So what Reliance Digital will do then? He will verify this POD. Okay, then he will make sure that okay, everything was done with the proper quality. There was no damage done within the transit. All good. Then he will release the payment. Okay, only after receiving a POD, the last step would be releasing of the payment. Okay, so this will be the last step in the entire cycle. So this is a very high level. Okay, I'm just trying to give you the some background or some kind of information so that it will be very easy for us when we go into the system, right? And there will be a lot of different variations and a lot of different scenarios which we will be dealing with, but this is a very basic scenario, right, which I just try to explain. So in this entire flow, okay, in this entire flow, when it comes to SAP, okay, what all documents are getting created? Okay, so the first document, okay, which got created in this entire flow was the sales order, right? Because the customer comes and he gives you the order. He gives an order to the salesperson in the Reliance Digital. So that Reliance Digital, what they will have to do is they'll have to create the sales order, that okay, I need to deliver the goods, right? So I need to deliver the goods. And in sales order, we need to give some information, since you all have some SAP background. So whenever we create a sales order, we need to give the ship to. Okay, so I will give a ship to as my customer address, and it will also, the sales order will also have the information about the okay shipping plant or a shipping point, right? So this information will be there in the sales order. Whenever a sales order will be created, we will have this information, and it will also have a requested delivery date and all that, right? So this is my first document which will be created in a system. Okay, now what is another document, right? So after a sales order is created, what I said, the job of my sales team is done, right? They have done their job, they have sold the goods. Okay, but then we also need to deliver the goods, right? So what will happen, the next step would be creation of delivery. Okay, that is outbound delivery. Okay, this outbound delivery will have an information of okay the goods which needs to be shipped. Okay, it will also have an information of the delivery date. It will also have an information of the quantity, any special instructions, whatever special instructions you need to give, you can give it into the delivery, that okay, perform some kind of value add services or whatever. There are a lot of different instructions which people give, so that all can be given in the outbound delivery. And this outbound delivery is then shared with my warehouse. Okay, it is shared with the warehouse. Then what is the next step, or what is the next document which will be created? The next document which will be created in SAP, okay, if we are working with EWM world, then there are a lot of different documents which will be created. So we will not go into the details of it because we are not much interested in EWM. Okay, but if we are going with the IM world, then in IM, we are not going to create any transfer orders or warehouse order as such. We directly start picking, okay, using the outbound delivery. Okay, so the third step over here will be the picking. Okay, so depending on your warehouse, whether it is EWM managed, then we will be creating a warehouse orders. If we are WM managed, then we will be creating a transfer orders. And if we are working with lean WM, then also we can create a pick list. Okay, we can print a pick list, and based on that, a warehouse team will start performing the picking activities. Right. So this is my third document, or this is my third activity which will happen. Right. So outbound delivery is created, and using a pick list, we perform the picking. Okay. Then what is the next document which we are expected over here to be created? Right. So we will not go into the TM terminology straight away today. But I would just simply say that, okay, there will be some transportation documents, okay, transportation documents which will be created. Okay, so we have a lot of different concepts like freight unit, freight orders, and all that. So we will slowly go into the details of it later. But let's try to understand that today we are just going to create a transportation document. Okay, so after the transportation documents are created, then what will happen? Then in system, the truck will go, okay, and then the final document, okay, which we will be receiving. So our carrier will actually send us the invoice, right? So they will be sending us the invoice, right? And against that invoice, we will be releasing the payment, right? So these are some of the documents which will be created in a system when it comes to this particular flow, right? So yeah, then let me go to, so yeah, before I go into the presentation, anything which anyone wants to clarify or discuss or want to give some inputs in this particular thing which I have just shown.
Yeah. Hi, Amit. Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, as we are all professionals and we have been working with the CCP world since long,
Hmm.
um, I just give it feedback that you can give examples of some international shipments
Yeah.
so that we can connect more, because rather than giving a example which is more closer to personal life. So more it's more should be more appropriate towards an industrial example.
Hmm. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, sure,
that's
sure.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And second thing, because most of the organizations currently are using EWM, we should consider how it flows through the EWM as well. Very few who goes through IM and they still go through TMS.
Hmm.
But we can
Hmm.
consider both of them. But I would say as majority of the organizations go through EWM. So when we talk about that, we should talk of that part as well.
Hmm.
Okay, here, Debishis, let's understand that the main agenda of the session is the transportation management.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's not the EWM. If we get into the EWM, there are the other participants also who are basically not new to the EWM, and it will be a lot of confusion for them. Other than you five people, okay, there are other three guys who will be joining in this batch. I would
Okay.
say that no, let's basically more focus on the way that TM basically drives. And there are one session that we have already organized, okay, especially for you guys, that is ASR, EWM TM integration. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
in that case, we will basically show you that how it basically goes from EWM to TM and how the FO and other things are basically. But every process starting from EWM basically creates too much of complications for us also, okay, from the timeline perspective as well as from the system behavior perspective. Okay, if there is any questions or queries you have, okay, curiosity to look into the EWM, we can talk about that. We have that experience, but not every scenario we can get into the EWM part. Okay, let's be very clear on that. Okay, yeah,
Okay. Okay. We'll
yes,
talk
yes,
separately
sure,
on that.
sure, sure, yeah, thanks,
Thank you.
thanks.
Yep.
Yes, Amit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just go through this few of the pointers which I have mentioned in the PowerPoint. Okay. So I'll not go into the each and every line, okay, from this particular PowerPoint, but few of the important points over here, like this particular flow diagram which you can see here, right? Like how the transportation flow works, right? So basically, before even going into this, right, in any of the industries, right, we always have a few processes, right? So we have the inbound activities. So what do you mean by inbound activities? Okay, inbound activities means whenever we receive any goods into our warehouse, right? That is, we are receiving anything from our supplier into our warehouse, then that is called as a inbound activity, right? Because if let's say if I'm a production company, if I'm manufacturing an equipment, or if I'm an OEM, right, then I will definitely need some raw materials, okay, to manufacture something, right? So I'll definitely have the inbound processes also in my warehouse. Okay, so most of the times, okay, I will always have the inbound activities in my warehouse or in my company, right? So along with inbound, we also have the processes which are relevant for the outbound. Now, what I mean by outbound means whenever you are shipping the goods out from your warehouse, right? So that is your outbound activities, right? So we receive the goods, okay, that receiving also involves the transportation, and whenever we move the goods out of our warehouse, that also needs the transportation, right? So the transportation revolves around this. So whenever we receive anything in our warehouse, again we need to think how it is getting received, okay, and whenever we ship out the goods from our warehouse, we need to think, how we are going to ship the goods out to the customer. So we need to understand both inbound and outbound flows. Okay, so now let me go back to this particular process flow, right? So here you can see that, okay, how the flow will be, or how the entire picture works when it comes to the transportation. So here you see the ordering and the ordering order processes, right? So this is an inbound which I was talking about, when we receive the goods, okay, into our facility. So how we receive the goods? We receive using a purchase orders, right? So the first thing what we do in a system is a creation of the purchase order, and then so if we are using EWM, right, then mostly when we do GR, when we receive the goods into our warehouse, it is always done using the inbound delivery, right? Because inbound delivery is nothing but an advanced shipping notification which we receive from our suppliers, and using that we perform the good receipts, right? So this is what I mean by the inbound. Okay, so you will need to understand when we go into more details of the subject, right? So in inbound, since we are receiving the goods, or since we are receiving the products from our supplier, they will be charging us, right? They will be sending us the invoice, right? So we will be booking this invoice, or we will be posting this invoice against the purchase order in the system. Okay, so after we receive the goods, right, as I said, we are not going to hold the goods, right? We are going to ship out the goods to the customer, right? So that, after we do, you see here the logistics execution comes in, when we actually wants to ship the goods out, okay, to from our warehouse. The transportation process or a logistics execution process comes into the picture, right? And this I have already explained how the outbound flow will work. Like, we will receive a sales order, then using a sales order we will have an outbound delivery, then after we receive an outbound delivery, picking, packing and shipping will happen. And then in case of outbound, we will be creating the billing document, because here we are talking about the sales part, right? So we will be billing to the customer, right? So this two flows are most important thing when it comes to the transportation. We will see in both of the flows, that is how it works in inbound and how it works in the outbound flow. Okay, so this is what we are going to see here. Okay, let me just scroll down. Okay. Yeah, so this topic we will discuss it tomorrow. Like, we will just try to see um, what is LETRA, and what features it was having, and going forward when we go with the transportation, what extra benefits SAP transportation is going to give us, right? So that kind of in discussion we will do tomorrow. We will try to just compare it, okay, that what LETRA was providing and what SAP TMS is going to provide us, and why it is beneficial, and why it is important nowadays to go with the SAP TMS, right? And along with this, we'll also try to uh, see some background, like how SAP TMS evolved, and what are the different versions which SAP provided, and which version we are going to work with, right? That also we will be discussing. And also in SAP TMS, right, we have a concept of okay, so SAP TMS, okay, we have we can have SAP TMS as a standalone, okay, as a standalone system, and we can also have SAP TMS as embedded system. Okay, so this difference also we'll try to understand tomorrow, like what is a standalone system and what is embedded system, right? Because nowadays most of the companies are going with when they are implementing SAP S4 HANA, they are always trying to keep everything into one box. That is SAP TMS also into the one box, and SAP EWM also into the one box. So everything remains in the one box. So that is what I mean by the embedded. So we will see a difference between this standalone and embedded, a high level difference. We will not go into the details because it will take too much of time if we go into the details of standalone. Yeah, our focus will be main on the embedded version of the SAP TMS, right? So that is what we are going to discuss. Okay, then then what else we will be checking tomorrow is, after we discuss about this, right, the concept of or the differences between LETRA and the SAP TMS, and also we will be checking what is standalone and what is embedded TMS system. Then we will start with getting used to some of the TMS terminologies, right? Like what is uh, domestic cargo, what is international cargo, what are the different transportation modes, right, which we will be dealing with, right? So this all we need to understand. What are the different transportation modes? What is the meaning of unimodal, and what is the difference between unimodal and multimodal shipments? Okay, so this also we will be discussing it in details tomorrow, right? And I think this is what we will be seeing tomorrow. And when it comes to the transportation overview, right? So how it works? Okay, so what are the different stages into transportation, right? So you see, it starts with the order management. Okay, so in the example which I explained you today, so how the process started. It started with the order management, right? So the first process was to receive the sales order, right? So that sales order receiving comes under the order management, right? So then after order management is done, then what we do, we send the information to the warehouse and they do the picking, packing. But along with that, or much before that also, my transportation planning will start. Okay, the moment I create my sales order and a delivery, my transportation planning should start. So what does the planning involve? Planning involves to which carrier, okay, I need to give this particular shipment, right? On which date it needs to be delivered, what will be the ETA and all that stuff. So I will start doing the planning. I'll start selecting the carrier. I'll start performing a tendering, okay, in this particular transportation planning, right? So that will be my second step. Then what is the execution? Execution means when my carrier, okay, or my freight forwarder picks the good and he moves out of my warehouse, okay, that is nothing but an execution. So within the execution there will be a lot of things happening, like as I said, customer always asks for the events, right? Where exactly my delivery is, at what point it is going to be received in this particular location. So all those activities comes into this execution, right? Then after execution is completed, right? So what was the thing? I said that the POD is important, right? Proof of delivery. So once the POD is received, then what this particular carrier is going to do is going to send an invoice, right, to the order management team or to the shipper organization, right? So this person will send an invoice, and then using that invoice we need to pay them. So all that thing, right, like settling the cost, okay, between the transporter and the shipper is done using the freight settlement. Okay, so this freight settlement is also very important when it comes to TMS, right? So after execution we need to do the payments, right? We cannot just simply say no, we have done the carrier will not ask for the payments. They will ask for the payments, but how we do the payment? Okay, there is a process called as freight settlement, using which we perform the uh, payment activities, right? And then finally, the last leg over here is analytics and reporting. This is as usual. Every module or every SAP module in S4 HANA will have some reporting and analytics in it, right? So same is in the case of TMS, right? So this is how our TMS is divided. Okay, order management, transportation planning, execution, freight settlement, and the reporting. So I would say the first four are very important. Okay, how order management is working, how the planning is working, and how the execution is working. Okay, so that is this is a high level overview of the different aspects of the transportation management, right? So yeah, anything anyone wants to highlight or discuss, or maybe Nitin, if you want to add something in this today's overview session, which was not technical, of course, but just wanted to give some idea how TM works in general.
Yeah, not at the moment. I would. Yeah,
Okay.
am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Oh, sorry. Okay, not at the moment. I mean, this is quite enough at the moment.
Yeah.
I like to comment as and when the
Yes.
spec. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Okay,
So
just to give
yeah.
updates over this. Okay, like as Devashish said, like it will be good if we cannot touch upon the EWM part. See, we have the system ready, and the trainer is already equipped with EWM and TM. So wherever it is required, okay, in all his examples, he is means we can get into the EWM side also. We can get into the from EWM to TM side also. Okay, but too much of EWM getting into every process may take times, okay, in system setups and other things. Just to update everyone, we have come up with one topic which will be 6 to 7 hours topic, okay, but at the end, that is specifically for ASR, that is EWM TM integration and how the process flows. Okay, specifically for the ASR, I'm not going into the LDAP concepts over there. So I will be taking that part, okay, where I will be taking you through from the EWM to the TM side. Okay, and how this will basically goes. All the outbound scenarios I will be showing you, inbound, outbound. I'll update you regarding the LDAP as well as the return process. Okay, these are the processes that I will be showing you. Total time taken generally by me is 8 to 10 hours. I'll try to complete it in 8 hours. Those scenarios I will be taking care of. Okay, and at the end of the session, and there are no certain scenarios which Amit will be covering up from the EWM to TM side. Okay, but that may not be for all scenarios. Okay, that's the only thing I just want to know update. Yeah, there are the things that we can come up with the EWM side, but not every scenarios we can come, because I can see when the people are giving the introduction, there are few people like means I should not name who are from the IM background also. Then getting into the EWM, what is happening in the EWM will be maybe something new for them, and they may get disconnected. Okay, so on the sake of those things, I'm just saying that not every process we can get into it, but wherever it is required, or as per your curiosity, if you want to ask, we can tell you regarding that. Okay, that is the only thing I just want to ask.
uh,
Mhm.
it's Nitin speaking, right?
Yeah, Nitin here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So my ask was not to show a demo for every process of EWM,
Hmm.
but the ask was like if you are showing an example or going through an example, then
Hmm.
at least speak about like how that process will work in conjunction with EWM
Okay.
as a
Okay.
process flow.
Okay.
You may not show it in system, but whoever is the audience, majority of the audience here are aware of the basic EWM processes. That's why I requested that.
Okay. Perfect. I think that thing we can cover out, Amit. Right?
Yeah.
At least the
Hmm.
process part, not
Process
not
flow.
to
Yeah.
get into the system, but the process flow point of view, we can at least tell to
Mm,
the audience. I think it will be an added
mm,
advantage or kind of an add-on. Okay, to
yeah.
understand end-to-end flow. That we can do, Devashish, for sure. Yeah, from the process
Yeah.
point of view. Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, one more feedback. And I think almost all whoever are the in this call are well versed with the LE shipping. Well versed means at least they are basic. Fundamentally, they are quite okay
Not
in LE
all.
shipping part.
Not all. Maybe Devashish. No, not all.
In this call, I don't know. Well, additionally are there. Anjali is there. Brahma is there. Unchong is there. So
There
basically,
is.
they are aware. Yeah.
Yeah. But there are the people other than your team. There are three more guys who will be joining who may be new. Okay, so that is the only thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, but we will go. okay, as per the flow, and wherever you have the curiosity, want to add on something, definitely we can get into those. Okay, it's basically drive as per your requirements. That is what I mean to say.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Then one point before we end up, like tomorrow at this time, like 8:30 a.m. IST, I'm not available. So